Cool. And I will also, can I record on both? No, just on the cloud. Got it. All right. And then I'll make you co-host. There you go. Sorry about that. A few things were adjusted and changed as we were going on. Hello, Anita.
Hi, everyone.
So Maria is going to very shortly share a screen that is going to showcase the information that we're going to be talking about with you all today. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. So these are the AAS requirements that you will be looking at, not only where you're at now, but again, that streamlined process into what you could consider for the summer, as well as the fall. Anita, you just jumped in at the perfect time here. So if you don't mind talking about these summer and fall resources for the students, that would be awesome. And also a brief introduction, and you're muted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Anita Giraldo. I hope everybody's doing fine. And I'm one of the people who helps assemble the schedule for, for all the sections of our program. And more than anything else, I can't impress upon you that over this 1 year, a lot of people have been impacted by by an uncertain future when it comes to what are we going to offer and what can we take. So this summer we have quite a few offerings, and we're going to ask you to really take advantage of this as. For those of you who are in 1200, use this opportunity to go to 2300. For those who are going to go through all the different opportunities that you have for, for the types of courses that we have, and as well as for what's going to happen in the fall. So here we have one asynchronous course, which really doesn't affect you, but I'll tell you quickly, which is design theory, which is completely asynchronous. But what's important for you guys is that we have a 7-week summer session course from May 28th to July 19th of figure drawing and photography too. What's interesting about this is that these are cohort courses. In other words, you will be taught in groups of 9, 1 day yes, 1 day no. The group that's off on 1 day, will come in the next, and you're going to be going back and forth. The advantage of both of this situation for both of these courses, it's like you're having private school education with a tiny, tiny class, so this is what we're going to, this is what we're going to be offering definitely for the summer. A little bit further on, we're going to have one of the CLTs, Michael, who is here, and he's going to talk to you about any concerns that you might have about PPE when it comes to these rooms. So, hold on to that. And just so you know, the PPE guidance, according to CUNY protocols, will be coming. So you'll be able to make an informed decision as you register for these courses. Online, we have a lot of offerings as well. We have, it's for 7 weeks, 5 days a week, so you can get your 30 sessions. It includes the holidays. But there's graphic design principles too for those of you who are in 1100 now. Figure drawing, like I just brought up, we have one is going to be in person and the other is going to be completely online. The other is type design, which catapults you into further courses. If you're in 1200, take 2300. If you're in 2300, take 2400. And you'll also be able to take care of video, which is important. You'll have time to sit back and do the editing now without a lot of other distractions, and web design 1. These are all things that will cement your associate degree. Then we also have in session 1, we have photography 2. So the same way that's in person, we have another one that's fully online, design studio, design team, and internship. That doesn't really, just so you know about it. For those of you who haven't taken Raster Vector, here it is. We've got a 5-week summer session. You just tear right through it and you'll be, Photoshop and Illustrator pros. And here and moving forward, if you take 1200 in the summer, 2300 in the fall, 1233, you can jump right into 3313. Okay. If you're in 2300 now, you can take 24. And going through this, you can see this is video, this is motion. From 24, you can jump already into the BFA. From Web Design 1 right into Web Design 2. Okay, so as you can see from all of these different offerings, you pick up an entire year just from a diligent summer, because it catapults you right into the junior program. The only thing when it comes to this, the final caveat is that for financial aid, we can't help you there. You have to talk to your financial aid advisor and see what options are available for you to, for your summer to be financed for your tuition costs. If you have any questions, my email is going to be available. Feel free to ask any questions at the end. I'm going to jump off because I have to be in 2 places at once.
Thanks so much, Anita. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
Bye.
All right. So what we're going to continue doing here is we're going to continue discussing the different specific programs that we are offering. Again, the 7-week programs that we're offering in the summer. I'm going to be talking about 2 of those summer programs, which is the COMD 2300 and COMD 2400. And Maria is going to take it from there with Gen Ed courses and COMD advisement site. Robin is going to talk about lens-based courses as well as web design, and George is going to take it over with the BFA show, Gordon Parks panel, and how to submit to that show, which is coming up real soon. Submissions open on March 18th for that. Just a side note there. Obviously, I'm really pumped about it. But I just want to take a quick moment of time to talk about 2 courses that really jumpstart your experience in the COMD department. As what Anita was discussing in that presentation, you have these 2 courses called 2300 and 2400. Both of these courses are courses focused on advertising and campaign strategies, okay? These are really awesome courses to jumpstart your experience into what it's going to feel like working in a creative environment, whether you're working in a creative agency, an in-house environment, etc. This is going to reflect that experience that you would ultimately get with that. So in that summer 7-week program, you are going to be completing campaign designs for a variety of different companies. This has a really great focus of incorporating a lot of things that you've already learned. So incorporating your raster vector, incorporating motion if you have that background, incorporating photography, and of course, incorporating typography in it. We also have a really strong focus on teamwork in those 2 classes. So it's one of those unique opportunities in the department where you are able to work with a team of peers to develop these complex portfolio pieces that can be really great of showcasing your overall capability as an individual, but also as an individual in a group environment. So they're really great courses to participate in. And as Anita was showing in the presentation, those 2 courses jump you into the opportunity to go into your other opportunities that you have, whether it's your BFA opportunities if you're in 2400 or completing the AAS with 2300. So that's it from me. Maria, do you want to take it over for the general ed courses?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Let me see if can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give you this is just an outline of the AAS, or the associate degree program, which is also the first 2 years or the foundation of the BFA. So if you're here for just an associate degree, these are your requirements. If you're here for a BFA, these basically are all the foundation courses and the first 2 years of that degree. So a quick overview of it. you need a total of 60 contributory credits. That mean credits that are specific to the program. You might all be familiar with your degree audit, and as you progress, classes are checked. So you need to reach 60 credits, even if all the classes are checked. Sometimes transfer students come with classes that were 2 credits on their previous institution. So that's why I'm making instead of 3 credits. So it's not only taking all the classes, but also reaching 60 credits. So just a little note on that. Those 60 credits are divided, 39 credits for our ComD courses and 21 credits in Gen Ed courses. The Gen Ed courses are divided in what's called the required core: English 1, English 2, math and science, and then another 9 credits in what's called the flexible core, which is a CUNY set of categories. And in our specific program, we require 6 credits in art history for those 9 credits. Everybody needs to have 2 writing intensive courses. COMD 1112 is at associate level the writing intensive within our department. The next writing intensive should be from your Gen Ed courses. Everybody needs to reach 2.0 to graduate. If you are a transfer student, at least 30 credits must be done in residence. That means with us in order to earn a degree. And you also need to have your CUNY skills, proficiency in reading, writing, and math. So this is a little bit of what I just explained: 39 credits in communication design. Within your Gen Eds, the required core, and within the flexible core, the 9 credits in our history, with a little note that the category creative expression, there is a very specific requirement in our program, which is art history 3311, which is history of graphic design. And additionally, you need to take another art history. And those are selected from the flexible core. I want to point out our ComD advisement site, which everybody, can you see it? I just switched to it, yeah? So this is where you can reach all kind of information from advisement office hours, link to all of our emails, and the link to the Blackboard advisement site. Additionally, there's plenty of important forms that you might need. So these all somehow link to a specific page on our college website. And then under the advisement sheets, you will find information in more detail regarding what I was just talking about, right? So these are the 39 credits communication design to earn your associate, and then these are the Gen Eds. So this gives you a little bit more specific information. Additionally, the City Tech website, communication design, also has some of this information available. Okay, any questions on the general? I think that covers my part.
Yes, awesome. Any questions in the chat? Feeling good, feeling okay? All right. Do we have Robin?
No, Justine. I think I'm the one supposed to talk in her place right now.
Great. Sounds
Um,
good, George.
but
Thank you.
I don't have the photography deck for this.
Would you
You
like me
know,
to go
letting
over
you.
like the PPE stuff and the on-campus stuff and things like that while we
No,
wait for
hold.
Robin? Oh, sure.
Yeah, hold on. Robert's not coming, Michael. So hold
Oh.
on. Let me just cover briefly, and I'm going to just lead you right into the conversation. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks again for everybody for being here. There's, this has been unusual and strange times for everyone, and we are always attempting to create better ways to accommodate what you do, to accommodate you as you move through your academic career here at City Tech. The thing is, Professor Michaels was going to be here. She's kind of like over the photography department, but she has some difficulties. So a couple of things I want to talk to you about. I believe photography is going to be offered in the summer, right? And in the fall. The biggest thing about the summer, as Professor Geraldo pointed out, it was cohort classes, which means there will be small classes. And I believe it's photography 1 and 3. Correct me if I'm off on that, Maria.
It's photo
That's going to
2,
be
I think.
offered.
Photo 2, yeah.
Photo 2 as well. Okay, photo 2 and photo 3, right? Photo 2 is the cohort, all right? It's going to be cohort, and will that be offered? Will that be offered online as well?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, from what I told. Yeah,
all right. So one of the things that we want to do, are attempting to do, is give you a choice, right? A decision whether you want to go and come in and be part of in person, or if you are still kind of uncomfortable with that, don't let that hold you back. You can also, jump on the online project. Take one of each just to get a feel for it. So, trust me, I understand what we all go through and what we face out there concerning the situations. So don't be pressured to do one over the other, but make sure that you're trying to get one of those times in. Second thing, let's talk a little bit about photography, because some of us may wonder, why should I take photography? Why should I worry about photography? The thing is, like almost in every field, with maybe a tiny exception of illustration, there is photography involved. And one of the things that, and whether you are the photographer or not the photographer on any of those projects, it is important that you have an understanding of photography as you move forward with your career. So there may be times when you can go out and grab some photography for yourself. But in addition to that, above all of that, as a working professional, you might end up hiring photographers, right? And you want to be able to sort of like have that dialogue and have that discussion in their language, and also being able to identify what photographers serve your purpose. So photography is bigger than just taking the photography classes than just you wanting to be a photographer. It's not just about that. It's about you understanding how that machine is made, right? In other words, you want to be in the room where it happens when that idea of photography goes on. So you want to be able to understand lighting, you want to be able to understand composition, and you want to be able to understand exposure, right? So, and those are some of the elements and things that go on in a photography class. So it's important that you move forward. Photography will still be in the Voorhees building, and there's awesome equipment and other issues, but I'm going to let Michael sort of like explain to you the purpose and what you have to go through to proceed through a class. All right, Michael.
Alrighty, sounds great. So, okay, there's a couple of things to know when it comes to in-person learning right now. So the college or within CUNY has a requirement of a maximum of 30% capacity. So if a class is normally 18 students, in-person classes will be about 6 students total. And with that, so in the photography studio, we have 18 computers, and I'm already working out the logistics that each student that has in-person class will be assigned a particular machine that will be their computer for the entire duration of the course. You'll sit at that desk, you'll use that computer, that keyboard, that chair, everything is going to be that person's equipment. In addition to that, we're allocating enough cameras so that every single student has their own camera the entire duration of the course. And at the end of class, we're working on a sanitation technique using UV lights to sterilize the equipment and then putting them in a secure bag. And so if you are John Smith or Jane Brown or whatever, each person will be handed that bag at the beginning of each class, and it will be your bag with your stuff every single time, and you'll just put your stuff back in the bag at the end of class. If you need to take a camera at home, that same camera will be the camera you will bring home with you to shoot outside of the classroom as well. In addition to that, there's a couple of things to know when it comes to actually coming onto campus. There is a required application you need to install on your mobile device called the Everbridge app. I'm going to go over all that in a second. I'm going to actually share a link that you should save that kind of goes over all the logistics when it comes to the health screening process. So the Everbridge app is a required app that you must have on your mobile device. If you don't have a smartphone, there is a tablet in every building that you can check in through there. But public safety has suggested that if you can put the app on your phone, do that, because the line to go through the tablet might take much longer and it may cause you to be late for class by checking in. Now, one of the things to note when it comes to the Everbridge app is you need to fill out a questionnaire every single day you come to campus. So you open up the app, you're going to answer a series of like 5 or 6 questions. If you answer a question incorrect and you get a red X, you cannot return to campus until you have a negative COVID PCR. So you must be very diligent on how you answer each question each time and get a green check mark. It'll save in like this queue in your Everbridge app. So whatever the date is. So if today is, 3/11/21, you'll have the green check and you show that to public safety. They can let you in the building. You'll be able to go in any building on campus once you have that green check. So if you need to go to Voorhees for class, but then you need to go over to the NAM building to go to financial aid, you just show that thing and you can come right in. There is also a hand sign-in sheet in every building. I suggest bringing your own pen or pencil so that you can sign in on the thing, put it back in your backpack or pocket or whatever, and go about your business and go whatever you got to do. This is really, really important though. I've noticed sometimes with the Everbridge app, if you're trying to do it as like you're walking from the subway to the building, you might get error messages or the app is unavailable. The dean has suggested that if you use the Everbridge app, you do it at home before you leave for class that day on your personal Wi-Fi or whatever. You fill out the questionnaire. The green check is valid for 24 hours from once you do it. So if you did it at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's good till 7 a.m. the next day. So really, really important to do it before you leave the house. Then you go on your way to class and you'll be able to get in the building and do all that and do your classes and so on and so forth. There will be, going with regard to the class, there will be a technician assigned to the classroom that will let you into the room, and they're probably going to check your ID when you come in to verify that it's you and so on and so forth. And then they'll have your studio set up for everything, and each person will go from station to station to do your photography, and then you'll use your computer to edit the images you've worked on and so on and so forth. I don't know who the CLT is going to be yet. I have a pretty good idea. It just depends on when it's going to be. We're also, I think I know who the professor is yet, but we're not 100% certain based on schedules and availability. But that's when it comes to the getting into the building, those are some of the things to know. And regarding the classes, now I have a couple other things that I wanted to show you guys, and I'm gonna also share my screen. Justine, if you could give me a host ability.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Let's do it. And you are now a co-host. Go
Great.
for it.
Cool. So this next link right here, where it says City Tech Technology Services, if you need to get any software applications, this is the link that you go to in order to get access to Adobe or Microsoft Office 365, Zoom licenses, so on and so forth. One of the biggest things that a lot of students have had questions on with me is once they install Adobe, how do they get logged in? Do they have their account? So it's a little tricky and it's a little confusing. I'm going to try to explain it as best I can. When it comes to Adobe, for students, it is your CUNY first login. So if you are john.smith01 at login.cuny.edu, that is your Adobe ID credentials. So once you would launch Photoshop, for example, you would type in john.smith at login.cuny.edu, hit continue. It'll bring you to this page called the single sign-on page for CUNY. Then you just type in john.smith01 and then your CUNY password, and then you are logged into the entire Adobe suite, font book, everything. You have full access to all the applications and any fonts you want to download through the fonts portal on Adobe. And then you're in. You even have the cloud storage, which is very limited. It's only like 2 or 3 gigabytes, which isn't very much. But there's an additional software that you're eligible for, which is through Microsoft Office 365. And now this is where it gets tricky. Office 365 is done through your CityTech email. So if you are, like for me, mine is, mcanetti@citytech.cuny.edu. That is my CityTech login for Microsoft Office. And with that, you get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. But you also get a resource called Microsoft OneDrive, which is similar to like a Google Drive or Dropbox or another cloud-based storage, but it gives you up to 1 terabyte of cloud-based storage, which for most students, a terabyte of space should last you the entire 4 years of your degree program if you're here for the full bachelor's. And you can drag and drop files however you want. One of the concerns people have sometimes is that if they install the application locally on their machine, their computer doesn't have 1 terabyte of space. Most computers don't. You don't actually need to install the login application onto your computer. You can literally go to the website for OneDrive, sign in, and just drag and drop your files right to the web portal and make folders for each class. So like when I took classes or I did, taught classes as well, I had folders for each class. So ComD 1100, 1200, etc., etc. And then you can save each file to that particular folder, and then you would be able to sort through, oh, I need to pull up some project I did in, ComD 2300. You go right to that folder and you have it, and it's on the cloud. You can look at it on your phone. You can look at it on a tablet. Windows, Mac, Chromebook, makes no difference. All the devices will read the applications. Super, super useful, and you can access it anywhere. So even if when you go to campus, right? So if you're in photography this summer, you can take the OneDrive and sign in right there, drag and drop all your pictures right there, go home on your personal machine, and also work on it there as well at home. Now, if you don't have a computer, we do have loaner Apple iMacs that you can check out. You just have to contact me directly, and I'll put my email in the chat, that if you needed a computer, you could email me and I can set you up with a loaner Apple iMac that would be checked out under you. You just need to send me a copy of your current schedule, as well as your EMPL ID and CityTech email address, and I can assign you a machine and you can have it checked out to you. And you can do your work anywhere you want on a laptop, desktop, whatever you have, and we can give you a machine. I'm going to share my screen because I wanted to show you, in particular, stuff regarding the health screening stuff, and it's pretty important and pretty helpful. Share sound as well. Okay.
So Michael, while you doing that, a quick question: could you like on that red X thing? I'm sure it's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So could you go further elaborate on a little bit on how you can alleviate that red X? Because it's like you've already made it clear, it's not like an easy thing to get rid of. So just a little bit more further explanation. How do you, let's say you get the red X, what's your next step from there?
You have to get a COVID test.
Okay.
Period.
Period. So, okay, you got to get the COVID test and then wait for the results.
Yes, you have to get a negative PCR in order to return to campus, and you need to show that PCR your next time you come to campus.
Okay, but on the app itself, will that, we have to program that in somewhere, or the
No,
people who
so
give you
the
test?
next time, once you have the negative PCR and you go back to
Mhm.
campus the next day, let's say,
Right.
you would fill out the questionnaire again and just answer all the questions. And it's like 5 questions. One is like, are you awaiting test results? Have you, left the tri-state? Have you been around anybody who currently has COVID symptoms?
Right.
X, Y. It's like 5
Okay.
questions, and the key to it is take your time and read each question. Just don't rush through it and go because you'll make a mistake. And I've seen CLTs do it. I've seen full-time, technicians for CIS, and they've made a mistake and they can't return to campus until they have a negative. I've seen public safety make the mistake that I've been told.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I know it's going to happen. Right.
So the
Okay.
key is really to take your time and do it at home before you leave the house and make sure that it's accurate. If for some reason, like I said, if you can't, for sometimes the app doesn't load, and it's been an issue here and there, not very often, but it's gotten better. There's also a kiosk when you first get in, and it's the same kind of questionnaire. You'll type it, you'll hit the check mark. Yes, I've been away. I've got it, not waiting any results. It's basically the way I was told was, as long as you answer no to all the questions, you get the green light to go in. That's basically it. So yeah, I'm going to, all right. So you can see this web browser that I just shared.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. So I am going to show this video.
Safety is at the center of every decision at the City University of New York. To ensure that all faculty, staff, and students remain safeguarded, no one will be allowed to enter a CUNY building without first undergoing a health screening through the Everbridge app. The simple symptom checker can be accessed from your mobile phone every day before entering a CUNY building. To initiate the one-time setup of the Everbridge app, navigate to the App Store on your phone and search for Everbridge. Download, install, and open the Everbridge app. Click Find an Organization or Subscription button on the Everbridge splash page. Search for CUNY and select the CUNY Health Screening option. Do not choose NY Alert. You will then be taken to the CUNY Web Applications login page. Log in using your CUNY login credentials. Set your notification preferences and click the Done button. Once the Everbridge app is set up, you will complete the daily symptom checker every day prior to arriving at CUNY. Within the Everbridge app, click the shield icon in the bottom right corner. If you do not see the shield icon, restart the app. Click the symptom checker icon. Go through the questionnaire, answer the questions, and click Submit. You will receive a notification of a new message in your feed within a few minutes. Your token will be available to you within your Everbridge feed. Open and present it to the screener when you're entering your CUNY location. The symptom checker results in either a green token approved to come in or a red token not approved to come in, and you'll be required to show your results to the screeners at your CUNY location upon entry. This is the safest and most effective way to safeguard the entire university community when returning to CUNY colleges and offices. In situations where a smartphone with an Everbridge app is not available, the questionnaire is accessible via a daily email or via an in-person kiosk at the CUNY location. This one-time opt-in process is available for those with and without a CUNY login. If you have a CUNY login, go to the Everbridge member portal and sign in with your credentials. In the absence of a CUNY login, inform your CUNY campus that you would like to receive daily health screenings via email by checking the college website for the link or email address. You will receive an email with the subject line Member Portal Registration Invitation from CUNY. Click the registration link inside the email. In addition to the daily health screening, Occupancy limits will be applied and enforced in all campus spaces. Employees are also required to complete the New York State COVID-19 response return to work training before returning on site. The 12-minute training video, which is housed on Blackboard, provides valuable information about the mandatory daily staff screening program, who should be tested and where to get a test, daily work requirements such as social distancing, cleaning, sanitizing, elevator protocol, face coverings, and personal hygiene, as well as mental health information and resources. CUNY is ready and putting your safety first.
I watched that video probably about 3 or 4 times because it was so much information to digest in 3.5 minutes, but I highly recommend watching it. There's also, PDFs you can download that on this page that will kind of go over all the stuff you want to know. Also what you need to know about testing and results and so on and so forth. Now, another question people have had was regarding face coverings. So the college has provided each department some PPE, but it's limited. So I would strongly advise, bringing your own face coverings. And hand sanitizer. We do have, a decent amount of hand sanitizer, but how much will we have for a long time? I don't know. It could take, time to replenish the stock as time goes on, but you're required to have a mask to even enter the building. So strongly advise you have one before you come in. And, that's really, really important. On top of that, as I had mentioned before, so this is the technologies page that I was telling you guys about, where you can go here and you can literally go and get the applications you need. If you need Microsoft Office, if you need Creative Cloud, Dropbox license, you name it, it's all right here in this tab. And it's very, very helpful. I've sent this to 1 million people and everybody loves it. Another thing you could do if you want to have up-to-date information as things happen, I have a website that I created through our department that I'll put into the chat, where I kind of do all kinds of quick information as things change and things happen and so on and so forth on this little WordPress site. And this is the direct contact to the CLTs, whether we're on campus or not. You can call this number, which rings right to my cell phone. You can email us or use Google Chat to text with us and message us if you need help with questions, and you can reach any of the CLTs. We're available from as early as 8 o'clock in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night. And we have a Skype account. We also have a Zoom account if you need to do any Zoom meetings with us and get help on how to set things up. Oftentimes what I've noticed is, in particular, when it comes to logging into the Creative Cloud, people make a mistake and they have a hard time remembering which account it is. And I've done several Zoom calls, basically just showing people how to use their CUNY login to get into Creative Cloud and get that all set up. Is there any other questions that I can answer for you guys?
Feel free to type in the chat if you have any questions. Michael is here to answer them. Take your time with what you have to ask. You can also in the chat message Michael directly too. So if you want to do that, you can just change where it says to from everyone over to Michael, just so you all know. So thanks, Michael. That was really, really informative and a lot of information for the upcoming semesters, both summer and fall, and some exciting changes to look forward to. Speaking of both summer and fall, as Maria mentioned in the chat, you have registration that starts on March 17th. So in 6 days, ultimately a week, you have the opportunity to start registering for these classes that we are talking about. So really consider the opportunities that you have to advancing your path over the summer, whether it be with Gen Ed courses or these Com Ed courses that can enable you to, again, streamline your process here and make it go just a little bit faster with those 7-week courses. With that being said, another thing that's coming up On March 18th, so a day after your registration starts, there is submissions that will be open for the Gordon Parks exhibition. There's also a BFA show that is going to be happening. And George is going to give you a little bit more insight about both the BFA show as well as the Gordon Parks panel and show submissions. So if you don't mind taking it over, George, that'd be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. I really appreciate that. Welcome again. Here I am. Let me see if I can share. We got some exciting things that's coming up, and like was mentioned, the biggest thing is completely new to the school is a Gordon Parks an homage exhibition, and that's not about it's going to be about your work and how you respond. So for those of us who don't know who Gordon Parks is, we'll get into that. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Gordon Parks. Right, when he was alive, he was a photographer, but this is the thing, he's most known for photography. But he was also a writer, an author. He wrote plays for theater. He choreographed ballets. He choreographed the ballet. And the one thing that's really huge, right? He was a film director. He was one of the first Black Hollywood film directors prior to way before people like Spike Lee. Everyone knows Spike Lee, but there was someone before him. And his most notable film was a film called Shaft. And that's a little old for a lot of you, but I highly recommend that you do some, go back and see if you can find it, look at it. And he was early Renaissance guy, and to top everything else off, this is a guy that had no official academic training. Everything he's done, his writing, everything he did, his writing, his photography, his filmmaking, he is self-taught. He was self-taught. And he was no small fry by no means, right? His photography was global. Not only did he photograph fashion, he was a documentary photographer as well. So, and his photography was people like Isabel Rossellini. He photographed people like that. His photography lives in Paris. So again, he was one of my main mentors coming up as I came up through the world of visual art making. So we have 2 calls for entry for online student exhibits coming up this semester. The Gordon Parks themed exhibition is open to all work, big or small, inspired the work of this visionary creator. Please join in this department-wide effort to keep us all connected and share in the dialogue with your students. Full detail, and we're going to talk about some details later, but this is the thing, just like I said before, it doesn't necessarily have to be photography. It can be video, right? There are some links. It can be, how you paint or how you illustrate, because he did that as well. So keep those elements. So you're not limited to just photography. You might say, okay, I'm not a photographer. Okay, that's fine, right? Somewhere in here, right, fits his discipline, because he did a lot of things. The BFA, next is the BFA annual student showcase. It's returning this spring. This jury exhibit is meant to showcase the very best work produced by our CommView students during the fall 20 and spring 21 semesters. Just like last time, work will be judged in 7 different disciplines, including graphic design, photography, motion, illustration, advertising, web, and fine art. We will be asking for volunteer jurors and holding an informational session later in the semester. On that, let me be clear about this. So that word that seems to sort of like turn people away is when it says this exhibit is meant to show the very best work, right? And that you have to sort of leave. Sometimes we are our own worst critics at times, and you may not feel that your work is on par, right? But you let me be the first to say we. When you do that, you are kind of standing in your own way, right? And reality is, this is a true reality. We won't find that out. The only way really to find it out is to put it out there and let other people look at it, right? Just don't keep it feeling like you're self-conscious and that it's not good enough, it's not ready enough. Please don't let that stand in your way. And it is an inhibitor to every creative, at least most creative. Some of us are ostentatious and we don't care, right? But for the majority of us, just do it and put it out there. What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, you don't make the show. Fine, big deal, try again. What's the best thing that can happen? You get in the show. So either way, you have to take that step. All right. Some important dates. And please hear me on that. Please don't stand in your own way. A couple of things, and let me see if what's going to be the exhibition. I think the info section, I think this date was, I think it's March, it's instead of February, it's March, right? That's a little bit behind. The info section was in February. The submission dates are the 18th to the 25th. There will be an open and panel discussion, not on the 8th. I guess just got the news on that. It's going to be on the 29th of April. And that the panel discussion is going to be, I'm going to moderate the panel discussion. And right now we have on tap someone that's actually going to come from the Gordon Parks Foundation to further discuss the importance and impact of the work of Gordon Parks and how you can be influenced by that. On the BF show session, here's the dates on that. Now, I think these are firm, I'm not sure, but please, all of this information will be on Open Lab, so you can go back and check on it. But again, the BF show is also open to those categories, whatever your category is. And again, it's the same thing. If it's graphic design, if it's advertising, if it's web design, right? Work to put a piece of your work in the show, right? Just try to do that. Just get it. The more exposure you can get, the sooner you can get the exposure. I can tell you right now, that's exposure is one of the best teachers that you can have. The feedback you get from the group, the feedback you get from class, that's extremely important that you learn to put the work out there. And look, keep in mind that it's not about perfection. To me, that's nonsense, right? And it's not about being pro. You're not a pro. You're a student, and that says something. So and what it says, it frees you up. Being a student frees you up to be whatever, to do whatever you want to, and you got the easy excuse. Someone says, "Why are you doing it?" Well, hey, I'm a student. I can try stuff, right? So keep that in mind. This is your freedom, right? Don't worry about being embarrassed or what other people say. This is the steps that you need to take as you move forward with your career. The sooner and earlier you start to get that work out there and get feedback and critique on it, the stronger and better it will make you. Right. So the Parks exhibition, this is from a quote from one of his books. He said, "I chose my camera as a weapon against all things I dislike about America: poverty, racism, and discrimination." That's from Choice of Weapons, which is one of his early autobiographies that he wrote, but he also wrote after that. All right. So again, like, this is still, and to this day, a very powerful image. As you can see, it was taken in 1952, right? This semester, as part of our college-wide Gen Ed theme, Connected, and in an effort to keep us all connected, ComD is inviting you to participate in a celebration of the life and work of Gordon Parks. Please consider creating an assignment, and this is mostly for faculty, but keep this in mind as you and for students as well. As I read this, think about the things that you can do or say that you've already done. And when you research Parks, once you research Gordon Parks, you may find that some of the work that you've done already closely relates to his. All right, so keep that in mind for your class that is inspired by his work. There will be an online exhibit of the best work of these assignments in April. All right, project goals. I think all this will be posted on. I'm going over this kind of briefly, but all of this will be posted on the Open Lab. You can always go there. Create a connection for students for virtual comedy classes. Introduce students to work with Gordon Parks. Again, this is part of things that you can do as well. Provide common frame or reference among students and faculty. Continue to define core texts of our department, right? So again, right, these are the things that we're going to think about and that we want you to think about as well. And if your professor doesn't mention it, feel free, open it up, ask them about it, right? So again, because everybody's doing a lot of things, but don't hesitate to say, you go through a class and say, Professor, what about the Gord Parks project? What can you tell me about it, right? That's the thing I want you to be able to do, right? So again, like these are the dates. Like I said, this panel discussion I heard this morning has been changed to the 29th, right? So keep that in mind. You got, you can start thinking right now. It's supposed to be the 11th. So think about what you're doing, where you are. You got to the 25th, right? So again, easy on this, right? Just relax and put it out there and see what happens. That's my suggestion. These are the resources that will also be there. You can look at. So if you're not familiar with the work, even if you are familiar with the work, right? And this list will continue. Look, these are some links that you can look at and see what he accomplished in his long career, right? Guidelines will be posted here as well. I won't get into the details of the guideline at the time, but these are the guidelines that you want to be follow as you go through the submission episode. So this is the thing. So you want to keep this stuff in mind, right? So if the work gets submitted and it works, we want to be able to use it. All right. So what else? So if there are any questions about any of this, I know this could be somewhat overwhelming, but again, start with just the image, start with an idea and do the research and see what comes to you. And I, again, highly suggest that you participate, because participation in events and critique are the things that build our will and our confidence as creatives. Okay. Any questions on this? Just please let me know. Yes.
It is a great stepping stone for so many students. It's also a great thing to incorporate in your resumes and to showcase when you are looking for potential jobs, works, but absolutely keep these things into consideration. And as what George mentioned, really don't underestimate yourself. You are all capable of some incredible work. And George also mentioned that the likelihood of you already having or possessing work that would be great attributes to this show is highly likely. So look at what you have created already and participate. Like George mentioned, there's really no negatives with participating, and really only positives. So keep that in mind. With that being said, that brings us to the end of this meeting. However, we are going to open up this opportunity for you all to ask any questions. I know some folks have been typing in the chat some of your questions that you have had, which is fantastic. If you have any additional questions, now is a wonderful time to ask them so we can audibly answer them for you. So we'll just give you a moment's time to ask those questions that you may have. All of the dates in terms of registration, in terms of submitting work for the upcoming shows are all also available in the chat. Shout out to Maria for posting all that information. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself just for a moment's time. If, again, any of you have any questions about the content that we covered today, feel free to type it in the chat. You are more than welcome to ask us anything.
So, well, I added the link, the specific link to the Condi advisement site, but within it, remember that you can, I'll add it again, that you can come to our office hours. They're listed by day and by time. And so we are available a few of us, one of us, we're available pretty much Monday through Friday. Here's our schedule. And if you go to the Blackboard advisement link, click, and you will be able to see us face to face while we're doing advisement.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Actually, just to kind of ping on that as well, let me also just share my screen. I'm not sure if any of you are like myself and very actively on the social medias, but fun fact, ComD is also very active on the socials, including Instagram as well as a Facebook page. This Instagram is a really great resource that is constantly updated in terms of the links. It also has the links to these advisement sites, among many other useful links to clubs that we have in the department and so much more. So it's a really great and easy way to keep yourself updated with the content in our department. And perhaps maybe easier to navigate on your mobile devices than trying to sift through emails. Again, at least it is a little bit for me. This campsite bio here, again, and you click on it, you have those same links that we have all provided for you, some of which do still need to be updated, and more will be added soon. But you have the advisement link here. Among many other things, there is also a Facebook group if you are more of a Facebook human. That is also available, and actually a really great place, open environment place to ask questions in regards to career paths and just, general questions, maybe with applications and whatnot. So definitely something to go ahead and give a follow so you can keep updated with all that stuff. Any questions with our information here? I'm just going to go ahead and stop sharing. You're all so quiet. Are you quiet because you're overwhelmed or excited, or maybe a mixture of both? Maybe. We'll see. If you are overwhelmed, yeah, go for it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I had a question specifically about the drawing class. As of right now, I can only see the class that is in-person one. Does that just mean that it will be updated later on?
Right, exactly. So take a look at that content as it's being updated. As I mentioned before, it is something that's frequently being updated. And something to keep yourself informed too is to be a part of that Facebook group, because those updates sometimes go there first. And another reminder, always look at your emails, right? If you feel like you missed something, it's probably an email about it somewhere. I know that emails can be really overwhelming, but just a suggestion, again, myself, I use my mobile device for everything. However, if you're looking at your Outlook email on your phone, you don't have the opportunity to pin things. So it might be something to consider to open your email also on your desktop computers so that you are able to pin emails that are important and all that fun stuff.
Well, I can answer the question about the drawing courses for the summer drawing course. There are two courses being offered at the same time, okay? The exact same time, and they meet, one is going to be entirely online, and the other is going to be in person, or if you want to call it a hybrid, because you will have a cohort. A cohort is a nice way of saying half goes on one day and half goes on the other. So there'll be 9, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the week after it's Tuesday, Thursday, and the B group will go in between. So you have the choice of taking the figure drawing course entirely online with one instructor, or coming into City Tech every other day with assignments in between to take figure drawing in between. And what I had said earlier in this presentation is that in-person instruction is really going to be to your advantage at this time, because it's a private school experience. A class with 9 students rather, it is really, you have the attention of the instructor. So it is something that if you have the opportunity to do that, I would register for whatever in-person courses that you can get your hands on, precisely because of that cohort social distancing protocol from CUNY. Does that answer your question? Kinda?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Also,
Thanks, Anita.
with regard to what Justine mentioned about email, I tend to keep my City Tech email I just use the Outlook app specifically for City Tech email, and then my personal account is like through my Apple Mail app on my phone. So they're totally separate. So I don't get, the 5 million spam emails I get from, Amazon or Target or whatever on my personal account mixed in with all my important City Tech related messages, and I have it on 2 separate email accounts, and it works much easier to keep things organized and filtered. And you can, if you make folders on the web portal, you can see it on the app and so on and so forth to keep yourself nice and organized, and which is really, really important.
Yeah, and on that note, Michael, you know that students, that we cannot conduct any City Tech business on anything other than your City Tech email.
Right.
Things like financial aid, like registration, all of that. And it's not that, we're so proprietary, but it offers a layer of security to your information. Yeah, and not only that, because a lot of people, they have money tied up with tuition and financial aid. All of that is far more secure through your City Tech email. I know students complain because like citytech.cuny, .edu, .login, .whatever, but it's a situation that it keeps your information secure. So always, always, always use your City Tech email for City Tech business.
Right.
Okay, great.
All right. So I'm taking a look at the chat here. It's pretty quiet. I hope that we were all able to answer some of the questions that you might have had prior to coming to this Zoom meeting today. As all of us have mentioned, we are open books. We're here to help you. As what Maria linked, there is an advisement site so you can speak directly to your advisors at the given schedules that were provided. Take advantage of these links. We are always here for you, and really take consideration into what these summer programs are going to do for moving you forward in your career. It's something that we weren't able to facilitate this last summer. So having so many opportunities and in-person opportunities in the summer is incredible. So really take advantage of these really fast 5 and 7 week courses that we've got going on there. And then one last reminder, as what Maria mentioned, we have the early registration, online registration that starts on the 17th of this month through the 19th. And then your for summer and fall, and then March 22nd, March 22nd to 26th for online registration for non-early registration. All right. I believe that about does it for us. Thank you for those of you that all came here and participated. We're really pumped to see you all and hopefully see some of you in person. So have a great rest of your semester, and we'll see you all soon.
Quick question, Justine, before we go.
Go for it.
For those students that missed it, where could they refer to get this information?
That's a great question, because I think I'm probably going to assess that with Anita. I am actually recording this on the cloud. So full disclosure, I'm not entirely sure where this cloud lives right now.
I also save the chat, so I can email you guys the chat as well. With all
perfect.
the links.
See, this is why we have Michael here to assist with these technological things that sometimes, it's easier said than done. So it will be available, and you will likely get an email about it. So read your emails. That's where it's at for there.
And let your friends know, if because I know you guys all talk to one another. So let your friends know, look, all this information, resides, and we'll get you that link so you can spread that information around. Because we understand that a lot of people couldn't make it today. There was there were a bunch of communication glitches. We understand that. But we will have this information available for the entire student body. Thank you once again for coming, everybody. Thank you to the faculty members. It's great to know that you guys are really concerned about your education as much as we are. Mwah, mwah. Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You want to stop the recording or?
I'm trying to stop it.
I mean,
Stop
The
recording.
square.
Well, see, it says record on mine for whatever reason, although
right,
it says that it's